Have you ever eaten something that caused you sick? For example, undercooked meat, poorly washed vegetable, or leftover food in the fridge. This could cause you vomiting, fever, and diarrhea. This happens because of your food is contaminated by one of the very diseases caused by microorganisms, which are our sources of the problems. Food safety is one of the biggest concerns around the world. Food contamination is something we can't really see through eye whether the food we had is clean and safe. It's a risk we have to take in everyday life. Sometimes there is no immediate effect to health, but little by little of the improper food can cause big impact in the future. Basically, unsafe food contains harmful bacteria, virus, parasite, and chemical substance, causing more than 200 diseases, ranging from diarrhea to cancers. According to WHO, around 1.4 or 25% is sick from food contamination, and around 200,000 die. It's more serious in children, pregnant women, and those who are older. In this day, even though we cook those food by ourselves, we still can't be sure 100% safe because it's just the only stage of the whole food supply chain starting from harvesting to consumption. Even in the luxury restaurant, behind the scene, it could be probably another story because we just can't really see what they are cooked. From the report, illness from food occur most frequency in the restaurant, with nearly 4,500 cases, followed by catering, banquet facility, and even in the private home. Foodborne disease is increasing worldwide, even serious in the developing country due to the neglect of the personal and food hygiene. For example, Thailand, eating behavior, or the carelessness of the street food vendor in consumer hygiene, using unsafe water, and insufficient food safety legislation or implementation. Even though GMO foods have been approved by the government to be safe, there are several types of potential health effects that could result from the insertion of novel genes into organisms. For example, increased toxicity, antibiotic resistance, and food allergy. Obviously, along food supply chain, it involves many parties. It also depends on the moral of the provider and seller of such foods and products as well. Contamination could possibly attack us in various stages. The more stops the food takes, the more opportunity there are for contamination. Basically, there are three main factors that relate to food safety along the supply chain. Number one, food itself. Number two, people involving the supply chain activities. Number three, the kitchenware. Number one, food hygiene. If food can be contaminated at any stage from harvest to consumption, the hygiene of the food is compromised. For example, the use of pesticides and antibiotics in raw materials, purchasing low quality of food, and stored food in inappropriate condition have also led into. Number two, people in the supply chain activities. Since food processing stage is one of the most important stage, people who are responsible for this assume major responsibility in prevention of the food poisoning. For example, individual who is sick didn't wash their hands, used unclean utensil is likely to. Number three, the kitchenware. It is necessary to minimize risk and contamination in the kitchen. Try to keep it clean at all times. As mentioned, preparation stage is the stage that causes most of the disease. 4 tips for consumers to stop contamination process are: number one, keep clean and use clean material. Number two, separate raw and cooked food. Number three, cook food thoroughly. And number four, keep food at a safe temperature. Basically, foodborne diseases are preventable. Everyone has a role to play because it impedes socioeconomic development. and harming national economics, tourism, and trade. However, there are many laws and regulations have been enforced by many countries. These are some regulations and cooperation. Since consumers around the world are more demanding to know how and what has been used to produce their agriculturally derived products, these organizations help ensure agricultural production harmless to environment, human and animal health along the food, as well as once raw materials arrive to the manufacturers. Effective food control systems are needed to improve the applicabilities and control food safety. This is basically already applied for many big corporations. One potential solution is VoluntaryNet. It's free open source project promoting food safety. It's allow other companies anonymously submit bacteria samples that might cause foodborne illness. One is proven negative effect to health. They will send a report to all food companies in the network, letting them know the potential contamination. At the end of the day, it's important for consumers to know where their food comes from. Traceability initiative allows consumers to trace back through our supply chain. The trace should exceed the country boundaries since they are also important food. Traceability also encourages firms to show that they are doing something right. As entrepreneurs, we could provide a platform that reveals perfect information to the public regarding the food trace, that everyone on the food supply chain must register and clarify itself. Ability to trace back to the origin help consumers feel more confident, especially forcing suppliers to do something right. Hopefully, we will keep the finger crossed that many stakeholders around the world would align the same direction to improve food safety. Integrity, transparency, and able to put yourself in other people's shoes can make the world a better place to live.